What's up, everybody? I'm Kris Keefer. Welcome to RacerXOnline.com. And right now, you're staring at the SmarTop BullFrog Spas Honda of the one and only Justin Brayton, number 10, and his mechanic, Shawn Ulikowski. All right, guys, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. Everyone's hitting the factory bikes, and I wanted to do something just a shade different from everyone else. We're going to run this bike through. Although not a factory bike, it has a lot of cool features to this. Shawn has been around the paddock for a minute. One of my best friends, Travis Preston, he was a wrench for Travis when he won his championship. We'll talk a little bit about Travis at the end of this. But JB10, give us a little overview of what this bike's about, specifically the engine.
The engine is done by XPR, fully modded by Chad and XPR. Great engine. And yeah, just super solid, reliable. Just the normal things that you do to a modded engine, porting, cams, and all the little fine details.
So I know a little bit about JB and how he rides. I understand he likes a lot of bottom end. We know he's the quad king, so to speak, and when it comes to whoops and rhythms. But I've ridden some of his setups in the past. And from other guys in the 450 class, I feel like he likes a lot of front side in his engine.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, everybody knows JB as a jumper and jumping stuff, right away before most. And to do that, you need some bottom. So, yeah, he definitely likes a little more bottom than other guys for sure. And Chad's done a great job with that. So
when JB comes to the team, and he was with the team before, he comes back. He jumps on this bike, and with this engine, how many engine specs did you guys have to go through, or did Chad just nail it the first time?
Yeah, there was what they call a B spec that we were practicing on a bit, and then we came out here to California, I think maybe late November, early December, and they had an A spec, and JB jumped on it, and within a few laps, he was totally good with it, and Chad and XPR nailed it the first time. We have not made any changes since.
All right, moving on to the chassis. For me and these normal folk that watch this video that ride Hondas, we know they're a little bit rigid. But obviously we're in the rigors of Supercross, top professional athletes. Within the chassis itself, obviously we got to keep the frame stock. But is there anything special that JB needs in his chassis for Supercross?
So we came up this season with Ride Engineering Link that we changed that helped braking bumps and acceleration chops. So that's one thing that we did change from his setup last year. And then on the suspension, we have set this bike up a little bit more for small bumps, acceleration chop, but still need the hold up. And we've gone through a couple different sets of suspension, and JB's always reverted to a little bit more initial suppleness and sacrificing maybe a little bottoming resistance to get that supple feel.
So you weren't with JB in the years past, but obviously you've been friends with him for a while. Is that something that he has been kind of going towards year after year, is a little bit of a softer feeling because his stuff was stiff at one time?
It definitely seems like it for sure. He's put a lot of focus on when we go too stiff, coming back to that little bit softer, more compliant setup, at least in the testing we've recently done. So, and then that also helps with turning and just a better feel overall on the bike.
JB is notoriously good on starts, and maybe a little bit, if I lack a better word, not that great of starts as we normally see him this year. Can you tell us a little bit about his clutch setup, or if anything's changed? Are we on a stock clutch setup, or what's going on here?
Yeah, so he has struggled with his starts a bit. I think a little bit just needing to practice them a little more, which we did yesterday. But his clutch setup's been the same that he's used. I think it's just been a lack of practice and doing starts.
All right, moving on to the gearing, we have Renthal sprockets and DID chains. I know the chain is, Tony Alessi is very adamant about pressed-on change and what this chain means something to Tony. No one rides without this chain. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is this chain, super strong, durable. I mean, the press-on link's just really reliable. It's the DID ER V5 chain. Doesn't stretch much at all, and you know, in the past, guys have broken chains, and we've had zero issues with this chain. So far, it's been really a really good chain.
A little bit about the gearing spec. What are we on gearing wise? Has he changed that during the course of the season, or where are we at?
So we're running a 1349 right now, and that's what we started with, and we have not changed anything there. Haven't tried anything. We were going to try a 14 up front, like a 1452, and then just got to a point close to the season where once JB likes something, is comfortable with something, he usually sticks with it. So I don't see us changing it at this point or even trying it. So the 1349 has been overall pretty good.
All right. So I sat on JB's bike earlier. He's on a 997 twin wall bar. Two things. What is he most picky about? And does he, when you change these bars out, obviously you guys change them out race to race, do you nail the settings, or is he pretty finicky with that?
The bar setup, JB is super particular with. The main thing on the bar setup that that will throw him off is his throttle grip. We shaved down the aluminum throttle tube to take the knurling out of it, because he wants the throttle grip to feel close to the same size as your non-throttle grip. And if it's not pulled all the way onto the housing, it seems like within a millimeter, he knows. So perfect example is we rode Wednesday with a new grip, and it just was off. And it literally, like, it could set his day off riding his throttle grip. Wow. And then I did another one and nailed it yesterday, and yesterday was a good day of riding. So that's how particular he is. So the throttle grip's the main thing, but he's super particular with everything on his controls. His front brake, where it's positioned, obviously the throttle grip like we talked about, even the left side grip, it's got to be pulled on really far. We shaved down the clutch lever to take the lump out of it. Bob from ARC actually modifies those for us. And bar position has to be spot on.
So JB, he must ride really far forward, because when I sat on his bike, his bars are rolled farther forward than any other bike that I have sat on in the paddock. So I guess, is that just because he rides so far over the front of the bike?
Yeah, I would assume so there. Yeah, I mean, when I get on it and we're about the same height, it definitely seems like it's a little forward.
All right, last question for you, Shawn. This is a big one. You're in a burning building, okay? You only could save one guy. You saving Justin Brayton, or are you saving Travis Preston? This is a good one, folks.
Yeah, you got me stumped on that one.
You can't waffle, Shawn. You got to save one.
Sorry, JB, but I think it's going to have to be TP.
Well, Travis, there you go. Shawn still loves you, and even though he's number 10's guy, he's still got a little TP in his heart. So thanks for joining us, and I appreciate all the insight.
Yep, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, so we did this a couple years ago. I'm a big fan of football, and I love dirt bikes, of course, but some of you guys out there never get to sit on a factory motorcycle. So I'm going to bring you in and tell you what it's like to sit on JB10's motorcycle. So right away, first thing I noticed, like I mentioned earlier with Shawn, is the bars are super rolled forward. He is on a green elastomer, which is an X-Trig mount. So green is a soft, absorbing cushion mount. There's several different colors that X-Trig provides, and a green is the softer one of these three elastomers that they use. So he has a rigid bar setup with a softer mount, which I understand. He wants some comfort to soak up some of that small bump absorption, like what Shawn says. Another thing I noticed is the front brake, although hits very soon, is very far back to my finger. So like it's almost touching my finger. I like a bar that's out a little bit more, but obviously JB might have a little bit smaller hands, so his lever is really close to the throttle. So little unorthodox there. And just like they said with the clutch, it's shaved down. To me, has a much better shape than the stock feel. And his clutch lever is actually out more than I thought it would be compared to his front brake. So overall, a unique setup for JB10, bar rolled forward, front brake in towards the throttle grip. And I will say it is a nice feature to have that thin down throttle. Man, I can really grab this throttle and it doesn't feel fat in my hands. There's nothing worse than a fat feeling grip because it gets you arm pump. No one wants fat grips. Slim that thing down, go on the summer diet body with this throttle right here. And man, it's might get a little bit of whiskey throttle with this tube right here. It's pretty nice. So Shawn has done a great job setting this thing up. And although not the most comfortable Honda I've sat on, but doesn't matter. I'm not as fast as JB10.